Show, and I'm so excited to welcome someone from the cast of experts on that sex show that I feel adds so much comedy, but yet a lot of knowledge. Please welcome for the very first time to TKIF, Dougall Fraser.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Dougall. First of all, you're not only a sex expert, you are also a psychic. You've been on several different reality shows and talk shows and things like that. So we got to let everyone know that you're more than just a sexpert, as I like to call you guys.
Yeah, sexpert is kind of the new thing that I'm adding to my resume, but I've been a practicing psychic and author for over 15 years, and admittedly, the number one question that I get in my private practice happens to be about sex and relationships.
Wow, really? How did you end up linking up with that sex show and being a part of the team?
You know, it's funny. I have always wanted to do an advice show where we had a therapist and myself as a psychic, because as a kid, I don't know if you remember, but I'm from New York, and on Z100, there used to be this show called Love Lines with Dr. Judy. Yeah. So I loved that show, and I listened to it every night, and then, of course, it was Love Phones and then Love Line with Dr. Drew. Like, I loved it, and I just always thought it was a good idea. So I always was setting out that intention, telling producers, telling networks that's what I'd like to do. And this is just kind of how the universe works. One day I got a call from Roy Bank, who's a producer, and he had this project with Logo, and he explained it to me, and like the hairs in the back of my neck just stood up because that's what I was trying to create, and it all just kind of fell into alignment.
Wow. And you know, we mentioned last week when Dr. Dow was here on the show that it's a team of you that come from different backgrounds. You're a psychic. You have a doctor, of course. You have an ex-porn star. And you have, of course, Heidi, the lesbian girl next door.
Right.
part of the team. But, it sounds crazy, a mix of people, but you guys give really great advice.
It's the craziest thing. You know, I've known Dr. Mike for about 5 years. So when I walked into the chemistry testing, I was sitting with my husband that morning, and I said, I bet Dr. Mike is going to be there. And then he was. So I already had kind of a relationship with him. But the minute I met Katie, of course, I'd seen some of her HBO specials, and I knew who she was. And Heidi, I was a fan of from radio. And the chemistry was just crazy. And, I mean, even tonight, we're going to do 3 live shows tonight, and then we're all going out for a drink afterwards. We just really connect, whether we agree or disagree. We just know how to tackle the problem and connect with people, and it's been really fun.
You know, last week when we spoke with Dr. Dow, we asked him what has been I'm sure you've heard so many different things, you know, not just only being on that sex show, but I'm sure you've heard so many different crazy sex questions before. But what has been like the weirdest question you've received?
Okay, so far last night was the strangest question. A guy called in because the current person that he is dating is into footing, which I had never heard of. I've heard of fisting, but but the even, you know, the next layer was that he likes to do it with marinara sauce. And when we go to break, the producers come up to the table, and I say, "Are you kidding me? That is a real call?" And they're like, "I swear it is a real call." So America likes to put things anywhere they can think of, and we're there to tell them whether or not that's a good idea.
And for people that didn't get an opportunity to see that sex show last night, what was the response to something like that?
Of course, I pass out, and that's crazy. I've never heard of that. And Katie delightfully chimes in, "Oh, I've seen that," and has been on a set where someone was doing that. So the one thing that Dr. Mike said was, you know, I wouldn't use marinara sauce. That's not the safest thing. If you're going to do it, what lube is the right lube to buy and how to do it properly. So if you're into footing, guys, go for it.
Ouch.
Exactly.
If you guys just tuned in, I'm here with psychic, author, and new co-host of the hit television show, That Sex Show on Logo TV. I'm telling everyone to watch it because I feel no matter what age you are, I mean, as long as you're legal, of course.
Right.
I think anyone can benefit from the show. It's not just for, you know, a gay male. It's for everyone because you have so many different people call into the show. Transgender, straight couples, so many different questions. But has there been a question? You know, we asked you about the weirdest question. Has there been a question that made you uncomfortable, or maybe you're just like, I don't know how to answer this?
Well, I'm totally an open book. I mean, part of the thing that I do as my role is I feel like people are being really vulnerable with us. So I try to expose as many things as I can from my life because that only seems fair. So and my husband is always rolling his eyes in the back of the studio like, must you say everything? So there's no question that I felt like I couldn't answer. There have been times where I will go back to the dressing room and look at Twitter and the quotes of things that I've said. I kind of forget that I'm on TV, which I think is great for logo, but bad for me. And so that's been a little vulnerable. My parents are kind of freaked out, but they love the show. But any question I've been able to connect with. We did have someone this week, who called in because his girlfriend wanted him to smash a lamp over her head during sex. And she just said that it's a fetish. I don't buy that. I felt like she come from a childhood of domestic abuse. So I really felt they should go to therapy to kind of figure that out. So it's a fine line of, wanting to be playful and silly with people, like over the marinara foot thing. But at the same time, we really are connecting with people and trying to empower them to have the most safe, fun, and sensual sexual experience without it getting out of control.
Yeah, for people that, we explained that there's a variety of you guys that come from different walks of life, but you as a psychic, every once in a while, you'll come in and you'll say something about the caller or, the Twitter person or whatever, and we're like, okay, how does he, if they don't know who you are, or, your position there, they wouldn't know, like, how does he know about the person's energy or their backstory? Does that just come to you? Like, how does that work? When did you discover this special talent?
Yeah, well, so I think everybody is inherently intuitive. I just happen to use it a lot in the same way like a pro athlete is really good at golf or basketball or whatever, but everybody can play that sport. As a kid, I was kind of the gay, psychic, chubby kid on the playground, and I wasn't terribly popular. And so part of what I learned to do, because I was in a lot of pain, was I learned to tune into other people because it would take me outside of my own problems, and then I could focus on yours. And that was kind of a fun talent, and then people would like me. As I've matured and it's become a career, I've shifted a little bit into more empowering people and teaching people how to follow their own intuition. But the way that mine manifests is when I'm talking to someone, I see color and energy. It's kind of like cosmic charades. So even when you're talking, like I start to see gold and I start to see this deep like emerald green. And do you want me to tell you what those things mean?
Yeah.
You're so funny. So gold light is someone who's really independent. 9 times out of 10, they're either in management or they're self-employed. They love coming up with ideas. They like them to be their own ideas. They like to be in control of things. That's what makes them feel safe. The interesting part about this kind of emerald hunter color is it's the color of communication. It comes from the throat. So writing, expressing yourself, language, words, all those things mean a lot to you. So even if you send an email to someone or a letter, like they're really touched with the way you express yourself. In this lifetime, one of the things that you're working on, though, is trying not to be too independent. A gold person can get too wrapped up in their career, and they have to find the balance between their personal life and their career. And if they can find that, they're delighted.
Did Dougall Fraser just give me a reading here on KEMPIRE Radio's TKIF? Dougall, first of all, I mean, yeah, you were on point with that. Part of being this show, That Sex Show, what other things do you want to do? And this is a platform, like this radio show, it's a platform. What was your wish with this specific platform, and what are some of your future endeavors?
It's so funny that you say that. I've been thinking about this for so long, I still have to pinch myself every moment. A, because I'm a huge fan of Drag Race, and the fact that I get to go to the same network that airs Drag Race, I squeal like a girl every night. I love that show. Ultimately, my goal is to continue to be a part of a platform where I can empower people to be their most authentic self. So I'm working on a second book. I love radio. I love doing workshops. I love talking to people. So, everybody who's listening right now, we all have some kind of a purpose, whether you're a teacher, a mom, a recording artist, a landscaper, whatever it is, we try to focus on what our purpose is. And my purpose is to empower people to follow their intuition and be in alignment with their destiny. So whatever comes to me, that sex show, a book, this moment on the radio, if it fits my purpose, I go for it.
Amen, Dougall Fraser. Love that. No, I definitely really love that. You know, we're strong believers in people following their heart and their passion and really using their life for something of a greater purpose. So we
Exactly.
do appreciate you mentioning that. But Dougal, before we
Yeah.
let you go, first we have to remind people that sex show's on Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock at night. It's on three times, actually. It's 11 o'clock here on the East Coast and 11 o'clock on the West Coast. And then you guys have the after, what do you guys call it again? The
We're
uncensored
actually
version.
we're actually changing the format. Starting on Monday night, we're going to be an hour long because everybody loved
Oh,
it. I know. So we're doing an hour-long show, which is really exciting, and then we'll roll right into the 30-minute uncensored show on logotv.com.
wow. And I heard the uncensored, because I'm watching the live show, so I'm kind of like, okay, the uncensored show must be really,
That's what
really
everybody says.
raunchy.
How much raunchier can it get? The only difference is we can use the C word. I don't know, are we on the internet? Can I say the C word?
Yes.
Okay, so we can't say cum on television, which fascinates me. So you can see us all being like orgasm, ejaculate, like trying to come up with every other word. And the other thing is we actually bring out, we can bring out like a penis or a vagina and actually show you visual representations of what we're talking about and get a little bit more detailed.
Wow. Okay.
And when the vagina comes out, I kind of tune out.
Of course, of course. First of all, we are so thankful that you came here on the show. I think what you're doing is amazing. I think the whole show is amazing. So I'm trying to have all of you guys here on TKF because I feel like education, no matter what it is, especially when it comes to sex, here in America specifically, I think it's important that we have these discussions. So I had to have you here on the show.
I appreciate it. You guys have an amazing team. Everybody's been so sweet, and I just really like your energy. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Dougal. But before we go, we always have a question of the night. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day.
I did.
The big thing that, I was looking on my Facebook, and I was seeing people on Twitter and Instagram, and everyone's talking about Valentine's Day, and there's two sides of it where people are saying, I hate it, blah, 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 and then there's those that are celebrating and enjoying it. What are your feelings on Valentine's Day, and what have you seen? And why do you think people feel that way?
I have two thoughts. I think there's a lot of pressure, kind of like with New Year's Eve. It has to be the best night of your life and the perfect gift and the perfect meal and the perfect sex and all that stuff. And I think as human beings, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. So I understand people who go towards the negative of, it's just a Hallmark holiday and it's not fair and there's so much pressure. But this is how I perceive it. There's nothing better than having one day to carve out time to tell someone in your life how you feel about them. And it can be as simple as opening up a card and writing, this is what I love about you, and listing 5 to 10 things. You could do that with a sibling, your spouse, your grandmother, your dad, whoever you feel special with in your life. So on Valentine's Day, for me, it's a moment to stop and think, I am madly in love with my husband. I don't have to spend $100,000 to show him that, but I can look at him in his eyes and say, I see you, I know you, and I adore you.
Wow. So what did you guys do yesterday for Valentine's Day? I know you're working, part of it.
I was going to say, because we work at night, we had a nice lunch at home, and we just told each other how much we loved each other, and we sat out on the patio, and then we got intimate, if you know what I'm talking about. And then I went to work.
Perfect. That sounds like the perfect Valentine's Day. Dougall Fraser, let everybody know where they can get more information about you and everything that you're doing.
You guys can go to DougallFraser.com, or you can call my office if you're interested in having an appointment at 1-877-936-8425. I'm at Dougall Fraser on Twitter, and my public page on Facebook is Dougall Fraser.
And we'll be posting links to everything of Dougall Fraser tonight. Dougal, thank you so much. Have a wonderful show tonight.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great Friday.
We're going to jump into some music. Thanks, Dougal. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, we're going to jump into some more music.